Hello, I'm Jack O'Connell. This is the Lookbook with Esquire UK. I've got this is England here. Played a guy called Pukey Nichols. Yeah, just like part of the skinhead culture within kind of British working classes. Really, it was a really like working class movement. I was 15 doing this. Yeah, first ever film. So yeah, I loved all this clubber. And it felt like when the film came out as well, you kind of saw, especially with people my age, you kind of saw people like adopting certain styles from the overall look of this movie. So it felt like almost a bit of a revival was happening. And I guess that's where the first time I saw a pair of those Doc Martin loafers with the tassels, and then that kind of, like I was adamant that we'd use them for Cook in skins. But this was great because it was like obviously an era that was bygone by the time I was like of age anyway, and we shot it all in Nottingham, and it just felt like this movement was like real nationwide, and I don't think you have that today. I think we've lost that because of like globalized media and things. You don't have the same localized thing that was kicking off there, by which I mean like with like mod culture, rockers, punks, skins. Because I was a scallywag. I was like, I wore trackies and caps and things, and yeah, that's its own thing. What was great about this as well is this is like Shane Meadows' lived experience, and I think he was like dead set on getting the whole look right. So Joe Thompson was costume designer, but you could also run anything past Shane because he was referring to memory, and it was his kind of coming of age era, which was amazing. I think we all looked the bollocks in this, and filming it was great. It was unique. Like I haven't done a film like it since, because you don't really see a script. I think Shane casts and then figures out the story. So there was a lot of rehearsals, and we would like take certain scenes or scenarios and just drill them in a room like for 2 or 3 weeks before shooting, and then we'd go and do like, I think we had days out and things as well, so we could all, and then we stayed in character for these days out, which is bizarre, especially when I didn't really have an acting background. But then when you're on set and you're in the costume and you're feeling like you're more in the character, and then the camera finally comes out, that I guess it just informed them moments. I think that's part of what makes Shane a genius, is how he curates, cultivates this atmosphere. I don't think there's anything like This Is England. So yeah, mega proud to this day. Swipe right. Cook from Skins. I think it goes into the revival thing that I think This Is England had maybe contributed to, because you were sort of seeing it everywhere. You were seeing it in music. Bands like the Libertines were all wearing this clubber from a previous era. I was certain. So Ed Gibbon designed all the costume for Skins, and I think the aesthetic was really important anyway, especially if it was going to be successful with the age group that we're all portraying. So it was Ed Gibbon who was the designer on that, and he was great. He was really collaborative. I think I remember talking to him early doors, and I said, look, I want him to look like he belongs on the terraces, football terraces, but like in the 80s, 70s and 80s. So we did, man. We just worked towards that, and I think, well, I really wanted them Doc Martin loafers for him, but Dr. Martin had stopped making them at that period. So the only place we could source them from was Singapore. So I got these Singapore Doc Martens. So I'm chuffed to bits. And that was it, man. We let the rubber hit the road, baby. I've still got the loafers. Yeah. There's like like a maroon Fred Perry that I still have. Knit one, and then the Doc Martens. I've got them, but only 3 tassels. I'm missing a tassel. It should be 4. I lost a tassel somewhere in the noughties. All right, I've got a Premier look here for sinners. I've got a great stylist. I work with a guy called Luke Day, who is shit hot, and he's amazing, man. He's tied. He's got like relationships with like good brands and stuff, which is really handy. Yeah, just go down to Luke. He'll have like a rail of things that he thinks could be smart, and then we try some shit on, and then whatever we're feeling, I think. But like obviously thinking about where we're going as well. So this was in New York, and I don't know. I felt like going a bit swanky pants. So we went for the double-breasted, quite a nice fat lapel. And the pinstripe. This is D&G. I always liked a smart whistle. When Unbroken was happening and we was doing that press tour, that was quite a mad experience, because it was kind of my first experience of this side of the industry. And I was getting some really beautiful suits made, which I still have. And I'm quite sentimental about them. SAS Rogue Heroes. Well, yeah, this is where you kind of have no say on what you're wearing, irrespective of the weather. Yeah, some jobs will be a bit torturous like that. You know, you'll be filming in like arguably the hottest place in the world, the Sahara Desert, in full-on khakis, heavy cottons, and like World War II wear. And I don't think lads back in the day complained about that sort of thing, you know. They just kind of got on with it. They were the keep calm, carry on generation. I think when you're stepping into that period anyway, like you realise how far removed, pretty much, nearly all aspects of like modern day life feel so far removed now from this era. You know, even the way we got our food, and or they got their food, lived their lives, got from A to B. It just feels like a million miles away from now. So totally, man, the costumes and like sometimes the impracticality of the things that you're wearing, you know, albeit ingenuity in all other areas, God, like the engineering and things like that was mind-blowingly amazing in how intelligent it all was. Playing a fella like Paddy Mayne, who was, you know, very infamous within the ranks and within that brigade. It was never not in uniform. If you watch the show, we're never not in uniform. Ferrari. Yeah, I was playing Peter Collins. Well, he was like a really revered, well-respected racing car driver of that period. And so it was for Michael Mann, who is a massive, like adores racing and this period. So I felt like I was playing one of Michael Mann's idols, which is quite a daunting pair of shoes to be in. Yeah, this is Massimo Cantini Perini. So this is all his genius. Adam Driver's obviously playing Enzo Ferrari, looking very sharp. So he should be as well, because you know we're talking like a very classical era. So yeah, you've got like Peter Collins, and it just felt like a bit like these were the Italian equivalent of like Hollywood superstars, and they were sort of heartthrobs, these guys. And I think that shows in the clothing too. So yeah, amazing clubber. These beautiful box blazers, wide leg trousers, and then the cravat. I suppose we have to talk about the hat. Do I like the hat? I didn't at first. I had to get my head around the hat. That was based on a real photograph. The photograph is out there of the two of them, and that hat is on. So it was the mission then to recreate the hat. I think a lot of it had to be made because of the time scale, them being sort of 50s pieces. and what they were required for. So by which I mean the jumpsuits that the drivers were wearing were modelled entirely on the originals. Now, it'd be very difficult to get a jumpsuit from that period that is in good enough nick. A lot of the stuff that you see in the film is made, including the cars as well. The cars were all replicas because, and this I found fascinating, we had to replicate all of the cars that you see, and then we had to destroy them as soon as we were finished with them on picture. They had to be destroyed because if they're out in circulation, the genuine, you know, Ferrari spiders of that period depreciate. So that was part of the agreement. There was a conversation had saying, look, you can replicate the spiders, but you have to demolish them at the end. Capiche? Yeah, really fascinating. It was such a wonderful, wonderfully lavish production, and felt very glamorous as well to be a part of. Shooting in amazing locations in Italy, mainly Modena, which is like if Italy is one of the food capitals of the world, Modena is one of the food capitals of Italy. So I was just eating my way around. I'll probably get bigger and bigger as this film goes on, because it was just wall to wall pasta, beautiful pasta. Blake Fielder, yeah. I think what's interesting about this is when this is set 2006, 2007 kind of, like I remember that period well, because it was when I was like starting to go to pubs and things, and I probably wear Cook's loafers with 3 tassels. Like I love the polo shirt then. I love the check shirt. Yeah. Like a lot of heritage clothing. Farrah's, a lot of Fred Perry then. Bit of Aquascutum. You know, maybe there might have been a bit of a Stony kicking around, or there was like a revival happening, like ska music was back in the mainstream. Again, bands like Libertines, Amy Winehouse, she was doing a lot of reggae and ska, just reviving that period in British culture. I remember kicking around Camden at this time, and it just feeling like the cool stuff was happening, because you'd stumble across a brilliant band or a brilliant lineup would be on. You could leave the door with no plan and just have like an amazing time. To play a character who I guess in real life is looked upon unfavourably quite a lot, was unimportant to me. The main underlining thing for me is that, like, I really disagree with how Winehouse was treated by the press, by the paparazzi that followed her, you know, tormented her. And the same goes for Blake. Now, whatever the general view on him is, like, the bottom line is, talking about someone that was early 20s. By the time I'm portraying him, I'm like, I'm 30 something. So for me to cast aspersions against like a young 20-year-old, I don't know, I just feel like that makes me uncomfortable. So to me, in order to portray him, it was vital really that we just kind of looked at them two, their relationship behind closed doors. The writing was very guided by Amy's music. I know that that's a story that Sam Taylor Johnson wanted to portray. Was a massive joy to kind of step back into that era, wear them clothes again, feel like we was kind of reliving Camden a little bit in that period, and also looking at the price of a pint back then, seeing it on the walls in the pubs we were shooting in, was eye-watering. £2.50, man. Okay, this here is a picture of Sinners, the movie. You've got Peter, Lola, Hayley, myself, all kind of, yeah, we're in a scene, so we're all in character. And I'm playing Remick, who is the kind of head honcho of this this film's vampire movement. Film set in 1930s Mississippi. It's a great story about how blues music is so prevalent within black culture there, and Michael B. Jordan playing twins, setting up this juke joint for a place for his community to have a centre. And then my guy turns up, starts chomping people, turns out he's a vampire, but he's also partial to a bit of Irish traditional music, as I am too. So yeah, enormous fun to be had there. Oh, the prosthetics, yeah, it was arduous and it was long, but I was in such great company with Mike Fontaine and his gang. It was just fascinating every time to watch. Just the level of artistry going into things like you know, these vampiric demon-like fingers. The fangs were like sensational and really convincing, and it totally departs you from you. So when you're fully in this garb, and even when you've got the lenses on, they were like, I forget the terminology, but they were like really reflective. So similar to like a cat's, when you shine light on them, you'll see this like this kind of red hue, which was really affecting, man. But it also meant that you couldn't really see more than 3 feet in front of you because of this hue. But that was really quite liberating, because it meant that you couldn't see the camera and you couldn't see the crew. You could only really see what was going on within the scene. So yeah, one look, but multiple options, multiple versions, because obviously we'll go through quite a torrid time. So the clothing would become like dishevelled and bloody, and then you'd have clean versions standing by as well in case we needed to chop and change in terms of the order of shooting and things. It was quite grim. It was quite grim. The bloody version was like soggy and wet and horrible. When you've got that on for like 8, 9, sometimes maybe like 12, 16 hours, it's quite grim. But hey, you know, you're playing a vampire, so suck it up. That was the Lookbook with Esquire UK. I'm Jack O'Connell. Make sure you catch Sinners in cinemas now.